Hey music fans! As a roadie, I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road, and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios, and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie, and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. Hey guys, this is a request from Timothy. It's like a little biopic, a little documentary on the ladies of The Warning. And so we're going to do it together. We'll get to know a little bit more about them. So let's jump into it and let's check it out.
We obviously started playing here in Mexico. We're Mexicans, we're from Mexico. So our first shows were always here in our home and then just across the country. And I feel like we've seen it grow over the years and how we started and just our crowd. And it makes me so excited that people my age are looking for this energy and like this music specifically. There aren't a lot of female-led rock bands, only woman rock bands. So to start working as a young teen, a kid, we didn't even start out as women. Like we started out as little girls in this industry. Children, literally. It involves a lot, and we were doing it with our parents. Like we were pretty protected. Like they supported us so much. They got us into lessons. Like they bought us our instruments. Like they give us the liberty to like really concentrate on music.
Because imagine you're like just a teenager, maybe 13, and you want to do this, but of course there's tons of different things that you want to try out and do. So like sticking with it was also hard, you know.
Band started out as a 5-member band. Our parents are part of the band. Right now, obviously, our family has grown a bit more, like with our team, our management, and everyone that works with us. But as we keep on working, that is always like the center of everything, and everyone we start working with starts feeling like family, because we've always had that vibe. I feel like we've learned how to be like disciplined and responsible and like level-headed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really important for the industry that we're in. So a big hug to mom and dad for everything.
What we think really got us into this energetic music and rock and roll was definitely the Rock Band, the video game. We loved to play that game, and it was so fun that we just like looked at the screen and we want to do that. I told my dad like, I want to play the guitar, and he's like, are you sure? And I was like, of course. By the first week, my fingers hurt so much that I was like, please no. But I fell in love with it, and there was no going back.
I've been playing for 13 years. I don't like that number, but okay, 13 years. And I've been playing since I was a little kid. I would always play on the drums, like the toy drums. And I remember I really liked hitting things. So it was like a perfect match for me. And my dad saw that I have really good coordination. And he asked me like, hey, like, are you up for lessons? Like, do you want to give it a shot? And I was like, yeah. Nobody wanted to give me lessons. I looked like a toddler. I mean, and I was super short. Like playing the drums, it didn't look very, very promising for me. But I met one teacher and I had like a test class, and the teacher was like, "Oh, leave her with me. Like she'll be good. Like let's do this." bought me my first bass, and of course I was really young and really short, and I couldn't play a full-scale bass, so they bought me a smaller bass, which I have right here.
Right there.
Yeah, it's really small, and I still couldn't play that, and I learned for about a month, and then we started playing together immediately. So I didn't really have like that much time to get used to my instrument before we started playing together.
Okay, wait, I know that this isn't part of it. I'm going to ask you a question.
Do it.
Because it's like...
Do it.
Because I know, this isn't my place, but I will. Because there's a lot of people who tell you, like, why don't you play with a pick? Because normally rock music is just like, but you, like, from the start, it
I
was
always
like
play with my
finger
fingers.
style.
I know how to play with a pick now, and I really do like the sound of it. But I don't know, I just always played with my fingers, and I do feel more comfortable with my fingers, even though I do play more on time with a pick. It's weird. It does hurt more though, but
I get it. It's like when I play without shoes and when I play with shoes.
I get it.
The big turning point in our careers, like we did our Enter Sandman cover, which went viral, but I feel like the point where we were like, we really want to do this, like for the rest of our lives, was when we started writing our own music and releasing our own stuff. That was like, whoa, like we can create something, put it out in the world, and people react to it. It was just something that we really liked and looked forward to. So now that we're doing what we do today, like, I just feel like it's the thing that really keeps us going, our music. Of course, like any type of siblings, like we have our disagreements and our little fights and stuff like that, but we get along really well.
We know each other so well that we know how to make it work.
Exactly. And in the second that we start writing music, everything just flows really nicely. Like, I don't know what to call it except like sibling magic. Escape the Mind, those were our first compositions ever. That was our first time writing. I was like 12, Danny was 14, and I was 9. We were children. But it was the moment where we really fell in love with music and like what we wanted to do. Like creating something was just such a powerful experience.
And you know, it was such a key thing, I think, personally, that we were not thinking about will people like it, because we were not going to release it. We were not even going to record it. It was not going to be a thing. So we just literally wrote from our 14-year-old hearts.
And I walk until the very top and I'll ride, even though I stumble.
And then we jump into our first album, 21st Century Blood. And
her holding that bass is just awesome. It's so much bigger than her. I love it.
It was weird because some of the compositions that are in 21st Century Blood were written in the same time as Escape the Mind. But there was this very big leap we gave with this song that we made called Free Falling.
First song we actually wrote
together.
Yeah. And you know, it was also a big thing that we started like looking for outside inspiration. We really like what's happening in the world that we can write about.
And more than anything, like we read so much and we consume a lot of media as any Gen Z teen does. So we were constantly getting inspired by other stories that we were hearing. So 21st Century Blood was like, we felt like it was our first step. You know, like, okay, we're a band now. This is our album.
And nothing will change. I'm crossing
thing that I really like that we do. We really looked for what the song needed. We were like, okay, so what if this is a song with only piano, violins, and stuff like that? Like, we didn't focus on, oh, we have to be rock. We just focused on the energy that went into the song. So if you hear our music, sometimes it will be very varied within the same album.
But then Queen of the Murder Scene comes. It's our second album, and Queen of the Murder Scene. I was in middle school. I started going through my emo phase, so you can hear clearly there how that shift and like I'm angsty now.
These songs and these albums like grew with us. It's literally, you can see like the change.
Yeah,
in
you can feel the
personality.
Yeah, and Queen of the Murder Scene is a concept album. It tells a story.
A novel.
Yeah, it was like a novel, and it was a really different process writing songs to fit a narrative and a plot.
It was really hard.
It was hard because we had some, and then we had to add like the filler episodes, but we didn't want them to feel like filler songs. So we really had to put meaning into every single little part. But I was like really into this idea of making it a whole album about this story.
Yeah.
And when I told them about it, they were like, what?
Why is there blood everywhere?
Why? I was like, please hear me out.
We had to change
so much.
like a lot of the storyline because it wasn't
It wasn't
that
like
much
that.
of a storyline.
It was just like
murder. But at the same time,
you were getting into
I was getting into K-pop.
That's true. I just
So
remember that too.
we took the emo phase K-pop like
Route.
express line, right?
Yeah.
So you can hear a lot of influences in there that maybe you don't pinpoint them as such, but for us it's really apparent like which phases we were going
that
through.
key change into the
Those
one.
key
Like,
changes, those harmonies, like it was all very K-poppy for us.
it's a thing that we also love to do. That as we start learning new ways of doing this, we just like, okay, what's the next thing that we can try out with our music?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
in,
very fun.
in Queen of the Murder Scene, it was key changes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was
Definitely.
change the key.
That was a theme.
Coming from Queen of the Murder Scene, things are really different now. Because I feel like we really grew as people,
Even
as
more,
musicians,
like,
right?
from those
Because
two.
we're going through our teenage years. Of course, you grow a lot from one year to another, and you start living different experiences and stuff like that. So I feel like this third album is personal.
Yeah.
Like it talks more about our feelings or situations that are close to us or our opinions on certain situations. Evolve was one of the songs that we started writing together, and we had music first before lyrics and melody. It's usually the other way around. So the three of us were in this room,
Yes,
and Danny
right
and Ale
there.
were like playing, like getting the riff, and I was like, let me write a melody really quickly for the verse, and just like put some lyrics on there. And I was like, hey, that's a good line.
That's a cool
I'm not in
line.
danger, I'm the danger.
I do feel that it encases what this new album represents for us, the changes that we went through as musicians, as people, and in writing, because we saw things differently. Like right now, we really concentrated on adding a lot of like new harmonies and how like the bass and the drums were going to play together. And then differently at the same time.
Like there is so much room to grow, and we always enter these situations like with big wondrous eyes. Like we're gonna learn today. What are we gonna learn now?
What's gonna happen
Yeah.
now?
You got this view. Hey, everybody.
Oye, ¿cómo va? Mi ritmo bueno para gozar. Mulata, oye, ¿cómo va? Mi ritmo bueno para gozar. Mulata, pam, 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 pam.
Definitely performing our songs live is a totally different universe. Like we treat it as such, even ourselves. We know it's nothing like recording in a studio, but it's so much fun. You're like directly sharing and expressing to the people who are watching you.
And I feel like our past albums, we try to grab like the sound, like how we sound live into our recordings, and we never really,
we have never accomplished that.
never accomplished that until like
This
third
album.
album.
I've already collapsed, so I'll just drown my sorrows in a non-existent world.
We put in a lot of hard work
Yep.
into our live shows. We really plan everything out, and we practice it a lot.
And even
A lot.
our movements, like if you see us playing in our early stages of the band,
Oh,
we're
we
just
didn't move
like
at all.
statues.
Didn't move.
And that's something that we actually worked on consciously. It's like how to play, being able to like jump around and bring more energy to the show.
Like we make fun of each other while we're on stage.
And I know like I shouldn't really be like saying this, but even when we mess up, we're like, oh, you messed up. Like,
Yeah,
laugh
we
about
just
it.
look
We're
at each other like,
you messed up.
Let's go back to
When we play a show in our country and in our home city, it's just absolutely amazing.
Actually, our last show that we played was in Mexico City, and we hadn't been to Mexico City in a long time.
Yeah.
So coming back and seeing that we had more fans, like there were a lot of people watching us. It was just insane. It was one of the
so
best
cool.
shows
People
we ever
like
had.
screaming our songs. We actually have like a video where you hear everyone singing on top of like it's
Yeah, like you can't hear
hear
us. Mexico really has something very special.
a big scene
Like-
of energetic people
Yeah,
ready
people are
for
really
metal.
passionate about
Yeah.
music in general here in Mexico, and the crowds were always really energetic.
Like this energy that they transmit, you just can't help but give it back. It's really about making like a personal connection of what you want to transmit through your
Yeah.
instrument. Cause I look at our past videos, like our covers,
No.
and I'm like, no, what are you doing? But we were so young, we were starting out, so it's okay. But I feel like that's a really nice thing. Looking back and seeing how much you've improved, how much you've grown.
A veces las cosas obvias son las más difíciles de ver. Te asfixiaste con tus propias manos. Cuando todo apunta que por fin alguien te viene a rescatar, te encuentras nuevamente abandonado. En tu martirio
At the end of the day, like there's a goal and there's something that you want to reach. And it's really about putting in a lot of work.
And just also be very conscious that the people who work around you are different, are going through different things and will think differently than you. There's no one that will think exactly like you. So taking things with a grain of salt and not taking things personal.
Personally.
For it to ruin like your experience is a key thing. You know, as sisters, we really have like that separate, you know, our working selves and, you know, our sister selves.
Sometimes people have these stereotypes or these stigmas, like we've seen it in places we've played in festivals and stuff like that. Like the treatment is really different to like other bands, like male bands. But we see that change after like
We play.
yeah, we play and then like people's faces completely change. And like everyone's just so
Which
excited.
is fun to see because they remind themselves that it doesn't matter who is playing, their age, whatever it is. It's about the music.
Music is the language. It doesn't matter like where you're from, like what language you
Yes.
speak, like anything. Like music is
The language.
Well, cool. Thank you, Timothy, for thinking of me. I do appreciate the suggestion. You know, I do love the Mexican culture a lot. So I'm in California. We're close to Mexico. My parents would take us to Mexico pretty much every year when we were kids. So I spent a little bit of time there, and I loved it. As I went through college, I actually studied art, and I had this teacher who was amazing, man, Ramon Favela. And he got me into loving Mexican art. It is my favorite artwork. So I know quite a bit about all the Mexican muralists and whatnot. And so I identify with a love of Mexico. And so I'm very happy that Mexico has given us these ladies and how they speak of where they're from proudly, not just from being from Mexico, but about their parents, about being together, about working together as sisters, building together as sisters, writing songs together, traveling the world together. It's exciting. It's neat. I love that fact that there's the closeness. You know, you hear about these other bands like Oasis where they don't like each other, and that's sad. You know, it's very, very sad. So I hope these ladies continue on this very successful path. I hope they stay tight-knit, and I hope they really continue to enjoy the process of it all, because it is supposed to be fun. Life should be a fun journey, and I think they're getting that. I really do. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. And that was a bit of fun insight. Thank you. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. I now have a Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Discord, and even a Patreon. The Patreon you can join for as little as $1. The handle on all of them, it's of course, Joel Roadie. I'll see you guys on the next one.